The final moment is the sickest, most berserk. You will get out. You will launch out of your chair and run outside when you see this last moment.
Okay.
It's car con carne. Let's eat in the car. It's car con carne. And now here's the star of our show, James Van Alstyne.
And it is Car Con Carne, the world's only food podcast recorded in a car. That car is a Mazda 3. It's my Mazda 3 parked on Armitage, like the 3300 block of West Armitage. And before we begin the show, I should mention, as I'm recording tonight, I'm recording in mid-March. It's looking like snow tomorrow, but that's going to pass quickly, and soon enough, it's time to get your lawn in order. And Gleason's Landscape is the company to set you right for the summer. They've been beautifying America one house at a time since 1954. They are family-owned and operated. Look them up on Facebook. Do yourself a favor. See some of their work, and feel free to contact them for your free estimate. That is Gleason's Landscape. My guest, sitting shotgun, Mike McBeardo McPadden. He is an author. He is a writer without peer. And he's also a vegan. Which brings us to our location this week. You picked it. Where are we at?
We're at Ground Control on Armitage, which is delicious vegan food that, to me, tastes perhaps even better than the real versions of what they serve. So you get a lot of chicken wings. I'm going to have an Asian barbecue sandwich. And the fries are, you want to talk without peer, these fries are without peer.
So I guess what surprises me the most, you're the man who wrote the book Heavy Metal Movies.
Yeah.
You are the rock guy. You are the metal guy. You are the horror guy. Everything about you, even your attitude, screams red meat to me.
Well, yes, as did my blood pressure and cholesterol.
All right. Well, okay. That leads to my question: is the veganism relatively new? Was it?
I'm about 6 weeks in, and the health stuff I just go with for the obvious reasons. Yes, I am a 17 years sober, 270-pound, gigantic tattooed vegan. And basically what it is I have a couple of little dogs, and I love them very much. And at one point I saw a photograph of a piglet that had been killed and put in a little hamburger styrofoam for a supermarket somewhere. And I assume this was in Europe, and people told me they have them at Cermak. You can buy a whole little piglet in a little styrofoam hamburger thing with cellophane wrap, the plastic wrap. And the little pig had a smile on its face and its eyes closed, and reminded me of my two little Yorkies. And that was it. And that was about 6.5 weeks ago.
So that kind of snapped you into the reality of...
Yeah. And I look at the picture when it's my anchor. I'm learning vegan terms now, so that's my anchor. When I waver.
There was a time in my life, for a long time actually, where I was vegetarian, spent a lot of time going to Chicago Diner, Blind Faith Cafe.
Sure.
Ate a lot of seitan, a lot of tofu.
Yeah.
Tempeh.
Yeah, I know it well, yeah.
The wheat meat.
Yes.
Here's the interesting thing. We had to pre-order our food. We're going to be waiting for a while. 45-minute wait for the food.
It's the Murgatroyd. Wow.
But that's what I'm saying. Here's what I'm struggling with, Mike.
Yeah.
This place is more expensive than places that serve meat.
Right.
And it takes forever to get the food.
Right.
Like, on the menu, they have a jibarito, a vegetarian jibarito. I can go down the street to, like, Fullerton and Pulaski and get a jibarito with meat for, like, $5.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And instantly.
Yeah,
right. Yeah.
So that's what I'm struggling with. I'm afraid this place might be too hipster for me.
How could you I mean, what would give you that implication? You're sitting next to a guy with a plaid shirt with glasses and a long beard.
Well, the beard.
Yeah, there you go.
You've got the Logan Square beard.
Yeah, I do. And I was buying some fake American cheese for my fake bologna sandwich the other day. And it did occur to me that I could get, for that same amount of money, I could get 3.5 pounds of each of them. But it's to me, it comes down to that little piglet and my little Yorkies.
Totally get it. I wanted to do this show with you for many reasons. You've always been one of my favorite talk show guests. When I worked at WGN, I loved having you on at like 1:00,000 in the morning talking about horror movies. Really,
yeah,
in the middle of the night. I credit you, and I've never credited you directly. I credit you for me or my reignition of my passion for horror movies.
Oh, thank you very much. I'm honored.
Here's the thing. I had 2 kids, and I had a lot going on in my life, just trying to get work under my thumb, and I didn't have time to watch movies. And it was frustrating. Every night, when I wasn't working, I was working on finding more work. And I was very busy or taking care of the kids and the family. So I went years without watching anything recreationally.
Sure.
My conversations with you, reading your book, Heavy Metal Movies, helped remind me that, I really like this stuff. I should be doing this more often. And so this year I've actually rededicated myself to watching horror. And you are my Sherpa, my guide,
I am honored.
You're the guy who will go on my Facebook and say you should watch Tourist Trap again.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Terrific film. Chuck Connors.
That's a creepy movie.
It's like an art film, practically.
It really is. From the late 70s. I had completely forgotten that existed. I think I watched that last when I was a freshman in high school.
It gets very surrealistically scary at one point. Where the mannequins are starting to kind of psychically throw knives and awls and carving tools around. There's also, right up there with like the masters of horror, and this is like just, not because the guy who made it was a master, but I think it's a Charles Band film, who I believe is a Chicago guy from Full Moon Pictures, where Chuck Connors is coating the wax on the woman's face to turn her into an attraction at the tourist trap, to trap her permanently as a wax figure. That is really terrifying as he's talking her through the stages of her dying, inhaling the wax. And, that is, powerful stuff there. And that was, I first came across that movie. I was walking my dog in 1980 probably, and it was playing at the College Theater in Brooklyn, where I'm from, on a double bill with a movie called Beyond the Fog. Now, John Carpenter's The Fog had been the big horror release just recently, and I've never actually tracked down Beyond the Fog. That's still out there. It's not in any way related. It was a quick retitled cash-in.
And the remake on that one, why bother?
That's one of those things that's like, they remade that? Like a studio spent millions of, every once in a while it occurs to me, Colin Farrell is in remakes of Total Recall and Fright Night.
Right.
Who could possibly subject themselves? He's never watched them. He'll never watch them.
Speaking of remakes, I was actually surprised about this. Last night, I took my 15-year-old son to the IMAX 3D theater to see Kong Skull Island. I had so much fun watching this movie. In my wildest dreams, I never thought, just because it was a remake, it was a Hollywood movie, it had Sam Jackson being Sam Jackson, right. I thought in a million years that would not be a movie you'd be into. But you loved it.
I did. And CGI to me is the death of cinema. I don't think since that has come into play, to me, movies have ended. I'm not interested. I have a 7-year-old pal who lives upstairs from me, who every once in a while we have a guys' night. And he requests a movie, and he requested King Kong, and we went IMAX 3D.
Which is the only way to see that movie.
Yeah, if I'm going to, as I say, if I'm going to gamble and always lose, at least let me see the 3D. I want the full bells and whistles effect and everything.
Oh, yeah.
And it was great. And I'll tell you, part of what was great was that it all took place during the day. So much of, when you watch these action and these blockbusters, it's at night, in the rain, underwater, with a shaky cam.
God, that's true.
I was watching a little bit once of the Godzilla remake and the Pacific Rim movie, and it was just like, wow, Blur. It was, this is Blur, the motion picture.
Totally true. This movie was so much fun. The action scenes, the Kong fighting scenes.
Amazing. It was great.
So much fun.
It did not look to me like a video game, which is what the other thing, they all look like video game demo reels to me.
No, they nailed the characteristics of the gorilla.
Yeah.
And just this island of giant creatures, the giant spiders, the giant birds.
The water buffalo. I love those guys, yeah.
And, it sets up a connected universe, which I'm guessing is not something you're into.
No. That whole, I hear people talking, because it's always in the most severe Chicago accent here. Marvel Universe. And I know, and he's going to fight Godzilla, and I'm mad already, because I know they're going to make Godzilla win. And, I will say this. Watching this with this 7-year-old buried in my armpit because he was terrified.
Because there's scary moments.
It's so scary. It's so intense.
More so than I expected. And those spiders that I mentioned, those were
crazy violent, like insane. Like if this had come out in like 1980, it would be rated X.
It's totally true.
And this is a weird part of the upside down world we live in where everything is, I hate to use the word politically correct, the term, but here we are. But everything is so hypersensitive.
It is.
So, picked over. Except I see like a Spider-Man movie, and it's like snuff films from the 70s, the level of violence. It's insane. So this kid is, and I was like, this is really nightmarish imagery. Those skull lizards.
The skull lizards, just the spiders with their legs?
Their legs were like
impaling
spears.
it, yeah.
They were like spears the size of, like a flagpole at Wrigley Field going through a guy's, Cannibal Holocaust style through the guy's entire body.
There's a great scene in there where all this large group got separated on Skull Island, and one of the military guys is completely solo, and he's sitting on a log, and then he realizes that log is just a giant grasshopper.
Yeah, that was awesome. Yeah,
that was amazing.
That was great. Yeah.
So, horror movie wise, here's my great concern. Now that I'm trying to catch up, it's become an obsession of mine. I'm going to the library every week, getting stacks of DVDs. I subscribe to Shudder, and
oh, cool. Yeah.
I've been trolling through Netflix. I'm afraid at some point the good ones are going to run out.
Well, that has been my experience. It's at this point it's every couple of years I find a new one that really grabs me, and it's been a while. There was that explosion from France about 10 years ago that produced a bunch of modern classics, but since then it's just too easy.
Was Martyrs one of those?
Martyrs would be the apex.
It's a good
Did
family.
you watch that?
Good family feature.
Yeah. Martyrs was a film that, like, my wife had to go into therapy afterwards. And but since then, it's somebody just reminded me of a movie called The Lure from Poland that I've been dying to see. I guess it's finally making its way around the States. It's about vampire mermaids in the 1980s, and it's a horror film, but it's also a rock musical. So
Wow.
This is everything
So
for
many,
me.
yeah. Wow.
And it's finally come over from Poland, so just
That checks all the boxes.
Yeah, yeah.
That's it.
So I'm excited for that.
Did you like Train to Busan?
I didn't see it. I'm stunned. You've got me.
I think it came out last year. South Korean zombie
Oh, right,
movie.
right. Yes, I didn't see it. Yes, I know the title. Yes, and I know the film.
I enjoyed that.
That's good.
The Invitation?
I didn't see that one. Yeah, see, I've gotten cynical here.
See, okay, The Invitation, this was recommended to me. It's on Netflix. It's one of those, I've been talking about this with anyone who will listen, one of those great slow burners.
Okay, terrific.
The premise is a dinner party, and a guy takes his new girlfriend to his ex-wife's house for a dinner party. Their marriage ended because their young child died, and it was really sad and awful.
Right.
And they go to this dinner party, and it's one of those things where you just have this horrible feeling of dread. Little things happen that are clearly not right, but the way it's told, you think that this guy is maybe just being a dick and everything's overblown. Maybe he just is so freaked out by the death of his child, and he's just uncomfortable. But it crescendos, and I swear to God, it's a beautifully dark ending that stayed with me the next morning.
All right, well, terrific. That goes immediately on the queue.
I hope you like it. This one left a mark on me.
That's terrific.
I really enjoyed it. The Shudder subscription, I decided to search all on that.
Right.
They don't have a lot.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of depth there.
That's sort of the downside of when everything is available, it suddenly seems like nothing is worth watching.
God, that is so true. All right, so what was the last one that really,
I like the movie You're Next quite a bit.
Home invasion movie?
Yeah.
That was a fun one.
And I hadn't expected to like that, and I thought that was clever. And, gosh, that's already a few years ago.
Mm-hmm. And there are a couple movies of that ilk.
Right.
That home invasion thing. I saw another one recently that was just like it. I can't remember the name of it, but I thought, I just saw that. Right.
Yeah. And that's the thing. When you mention zombies, it's like, I'm finished, man. It's like they're not going to get better with CGI. So, yeah.
I enjoyed the 28 movies, Days and Weeks.
Yes, yeah, but already that's,
I guess it's been a while,
15 years ago at this point, yeah.
In fact, I would say the sequel was better than the original.
Yeah, no, those were very good original takes on that, yeah. Also,
because
sort of
zombies running. That was it. That was
yeah. Well, if you remember, the first time I remember seeing that was in Return of the Living Dead, which completely was amazing when they started running.
Wait, was that the comedy?
That's the funny one.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. That's the Send More Paramedics, yeah.
That's that's right.
That's the great one with the punk rockers in the graveyard. And
I should mention you are behind the scenes and actually in front of the scenes sometimes with Gilbert Gottfried's podcast.
Yes, yeah. I handle their social media. I do the Facebook page, and every once in a while I'll do one of the mini episodes. So you have the main podcast on Mondays where they interview, a showbiz figure. Jamie Farr coming up tomorrow.
Get out.
Corporal Klinger, yeah. And then the mini episodes are about a half hour, and they run on Thursdays. And I just did 2 in a row of great 70s and 80s horror movie taglines.
Now, did you know Gilbert before?
No. I knew
friend?
him. No. I worshipped him as a comedian, one of my favorite people ever, and performance-wise.
The Aristocrats, that was his movie.
Yes, yeah.
He owned that.
Yes, that was, yeah. I mean, he was the genesis of it and the apex of it as well. I've loved Gilbert since I was a kid, like a teenager. Mm-hmm. And, I was listening to the podcast. I noticed that their Facebook page had, at one point, like 60 followers, and there was nothing on it. So I got in touch with Frank Santopadre, who is Gilbert's co-host and a longtime New York comedy writer. And it turned out that he and I had a bunch of people in common, including the Friedman brothers, Drew and Josh Allen Friedman, who were amazing. You would know Drew's. He's one of the premier caricaturists and illustrators, the New York Times, Time Magazine. And then Josh Allen Friedman is his brother. And they wrote a book. They would put out these comic strips in the 80s, about Abbott and Costello going to hell and things that just, completely blew my mind. So we had those people in common. We had a bunch of that. And I said to Frank, give me one day. And if you don't like what I do, no harm, no foul. Just let me take this over for one day. And that was, 3 years ago now.
I love it.
So,
and that's how jobs are, the dream jobs are acquired in the modern era.
You got to take the shot. So I took the shot, and it's been great. And, so I've been on the show 4 times now. And
what a thrill.
Yeah, it's tremendous, yeah. And they sell books for me, so which is great.
That's great. So. And again, that book, Heavy Metal Movies, it really lit a spark with me.
Well, thank you so much.
Looking back, did you ever think about just doing a straight horror compendium? Because you've got the heavy metal thread line through the book, but it seems like you could have just made a straight up horror book.
Yeah, you definitely could have. But then it becomes, well, what's the angle? Because to me, what was interesting...
How is it different?
Yeah, to me, what was interesting was how do I make this all fit into heavy metal? Mm-hmm. Besides the obvious, so you have like Spinal Tap, obviously heavy metal, and then even a horror movie like Trick or Treat, which is with Gene Simmons and Ozzy Osbourne, which is about an undead heavy metal rock star, very obvious. But how do I get the Texas Chainsaw Massacre to fit into the metal mold? Which it feels like it is to me, but how do I explain it?
Right. How long did it take you to put that all together? 3.5
years every day.
Right, so you're watching, you're writing.
Yes, every day for 3.5 years that book took.
That sounds like a huge undertaking.
It was the biggest thing I've ever done in my life.
Did it ever at any point stop being fun?
Oh, yeah. Oh, no, it was miserable. And I lost my mind toward the end. To the point that, my wife almost had an intervention with friends. Like, this isn't working. Like, you can't do this anymore.
Well, as a writer, as you're going through these hundreds and hundreds of movies, I'm sure it's hard. Like, what else do I have to say? How else can I spin words here?
And then, what have I missed? Because now with the internet, you will be told where you were wrong and what you missed.
That is a delight.
Immediately.
That is a delight.
And louder and more regularly than anything else.
So you have another book on the way. What I want to do, we should pause. I want to go inside and retrieve our food, which I hope is ready.
Sure.
And I want to talk about the book you've been working on, which, after obsessing for 3+ years on one book, why not do it again?
And I'll tell you this. My wife had the same moment of intervention toward the end of this last
Oh, my God. All right, well, I want to talk about the book that we should be getting from you this year, but we're going to retrieve some vegan food now.
Fantastic. Thank you. These are your wings.
All right, so we are back in the car. I got to say, they are the nicest people in there.
Lovely. And as you said, healthy.
They all look very healthy in there.
Robust, yeah.
A lot of beards in there.
True, yeah. I was happy to add another one, yeah.
But two different women came up to us multiple times, checking on our order, confirming the status of the order.
Yeah.
Super helpful.
Yeah.
All right, send over
Here you
what
go.
my thing is. All right, so I got the tofu wings. They do it buffalo style or barbecue style. I went buffalo. And
That is wonderful. And had I really logistically thought about the reality of eating in the car, I would have gotten the wings also. I went for the Asian sandwich with the fries.
Here are the napkins. And you swear by the fries. You said
I do,
the fries
yes.
are,
And please, I invite you.
I'm going to try one. Here we go.
Dive in. Yes, fry
Thank you.
tax is all yours, yeah.
Yeah, those were.
You're happy
These are
with
like
them?
they're like diner fries.
Yeah. They seem to have the sprayed-on potato coating, which is wonderful.
Yeah, that's good. And you got the barbecue sandwich.
Yeah.
Which is made, I'm guessing, with seitan or.
Something like that. It's, as you said, the wheat meat. Mm-hmm. And it's a mess.
I want to get a look at this. Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, my God. What were you thinking?
Yeah,
Because it's oily.
I'm going to dip the fries in the sandwich.
Just to kind of swab it down?
That's how it's going to work. Yeah.
I think I have some baby wipes in the
Yeah.
back seat.
Well,
Might be busting those out.
yeah, might be. Yeah.
Oh, that is... What were you thinking?
I don't know.
Oh,
I don't
my
know,
God.
James. I was thinking delicious.
As much fun as this is tonight, we're not shaking hands at the end of the night.
No, let alone kissing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that is good.
I got to say, that does look really good.
It is really good.
It smells good. It looks like there's coleslaw maybe on the bun.
Yeah, yeah.
Which is a nice touch with probably
Some
the
kinda-
Asian flavors.
Yes, very nice. Black sesame seeds or something up there.
All right. Oh, boy. I just opened up the tofu buffalo wings. Got a whiff of the blue cheese. All right, they don't really look like chicken per se, but of course they're not.
No. Except cut them open, bite them open. It looks like chicken inside.
Stop it, really?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, so I've got the sauce, which is green. Let's see here. That's kind of delicious.
Yeah, I'm happy to agree with you.
That's kind of delicious.
Yeah.
This sauce is really good. Dude, this is good. This is good.
I'm very happy to
Oh, boy.
concur. Carne.
This is good.
Non-carne. Yeah.
All right. So we were talking about your first book, Heavy Metal Movies. You've been working on another book, and you and I have been talking about this one for a while.
Yeah.
But we're kind of close to the finish line finally, right?
Yes, this is what I'm told by the publisher. So, the new book is called Going All the Way, The Ultimate Guide to Teen Sex Movie Comedies of the VHS Era.
And there were many.
Yeah, there's about 350 in the book.
Oh, my God.
And this goes from American Graffiti in 1973 to Dazed and Confused in 1993.
Okay.
I feel like those are good bookends, and it feels of a piece time-wise.
Yeah.
Because once the internet came around, everything changed. Movies, to me, more than anything. Mm-hmm. And so this feels like this was the real end of the... these were all theatrically... For the most part, these were at least potentially had theatrical releases. Mm-hmm. And so I've been working on this book since 1995.
No,
Not every day. I first conceived it in 1995. And...
Did you have the heavy metal movie idea long after that?
Well, way after. I had the heavy metal movie idea in 2010. Mm-hmm. The book came out in 2014. And the heavy metal movie idea was as an answer book to an incredible book called Destroy All Movies: A Complete History of Punks in Film, written by a couple of friends of mine from the Alamo Draft House in Austin. And that book is out of print and very expensive on eBay, but worth it. So, yeah, the Going All the Way book, 95 first came up with it, pitched it and almost got it published in 1999. And then there was a shakeup this was for St. Martin's Press. And that would have been the time to do it, because again, one of the things that changed with the internet is you don't get these $50,000 book deals anymore.
Right.
So that would have been the moment, and the moment didn't happen for me. But weird coincidence was my current publisher, Bazillion Points, is a one-man operation. A guy named Ian Christie, who is a great writer himself, wrote a book called Sound of the Beast, The Complete Headbanging history of heavy metal, and is a Sirius XM radio host. And at the same time, unbeknownst to me, like this is like Tesla and Philo T. Farnsworth working on television simultaneously in America and Russia. He also had pitched this book and almost got it published in the late 90s.
So total kindred spirits.
Completely. And weirdly, he and I didn't know each other until years later via Facebook. He sent me a message. We were just friendly because I love Bazillion Points, and I love his radio show, which is called Bloody Roots of Heavy Metal on the Liquid Metal channel. And, so we were friendly on social media, and he sent me a message that said, "You will know this. What is the movie, I think it's porno, but I'm not sure, with the cream of wheat guy that comes to life in a 50s kitchen and starts, getting close to the housewife?" And I said, "That's the film Night Dreams from 1981.
Shut up.
Directed by a man named, his stage name was Rince Dream. He's a Chicagoan. He lives here now. His real name is Steve Sayadian. And he also made
Sounds
Cafe
like a future
Flesh.
guest to me.
Yeah, well, he made Cafe Flesh, which was a big crossover. That was an explicit X-rated film that also had a big art house midnight movie. Very cool science fiction movie. And we just bonded from there. And then through that, we figured out that he lived in New York in the 90s. He lived in Williamsburg in the 90s when I lived there. And we had a lot of friends in common. We had been to the same parties. We had likely stood next to each other and had never met. And he was in a band.
That's so cool.
A friend of mine named Dame Darcy, who was a comic book artist, had a really weird band called Planet Philly. And he was in the band, and I had seen him a bunch of times and have no memory of him in the band. So, so that's the story. Now, the current book was slated for June of this year and got postponed. This happened with heavy metal movies also. Because it's a one-man operation, he kind of has to seize opportunities when they come up. So, with heavy metal movies, Bruce Pavitt of Sub Pop Records had contacted him and said, I have like 300 photographs of Nirvana, Soundgarden, and Tad in Europe in 1989, and I kept a journal. Would you want to publish that as a book? So
priorities shift.
Yeah, exactly. So what's happened this time is he had the opportunity to do 4 books that came his way. One of which is Eerie Vaughn's photographs of Danzig and the Misfits going back to 1981, which is a really amazing
that sounds
book.
awesome.
Yeah, it's an amazing book. And Choosing Death, The History of Death Metal, by Albert Mudrian, who was the publisher of Decibel magazine, and a Link Ray biography that no one has ever written, and what's the other one? A history of the straight edge hardcore scene. So they all sort of skipped ahead of my teen sex book.
Which, I get that, but I also see the value in pushing back your release for the fall.
Yeah.
Just based on what I know about your last book.
Yeah.
This is the book that you might want to gift for somebody.
That, and that was another part of it, yeah. And the whole back to school thing, and right into Christmas.
Yeah, I mean, this is something you get for, your friend who's probably 35 plus.
Yes, yeah.
Who, grew up watching all the same.
It's Porky's, Fast Times at Ridgemont High,
Yeah.
Risky Business, yeah. Those are the core, the John Hughes films.
Tons of pictures?
They were, yeah. A lot rare, amazing, weird posters, which is the most fun part of putting the books together, is finding the artwork.
Speaking of movie posters, just to backtrack real quick, the Skull Island poster for Kong, I thought it was beautiful, like a 1970s poster.
The Apocalypse Now?
Yes.
Yeah, that was mind-blowing.
I loved it.
Had I not liked the movie, I would have been annoyed by it. But since I love the movie, I now love the poster.
Absolutely. All right, sorry.
It worked. No,
lots of
it
images
all
in the
worked.
new book.
Yeah.
And so you almost reached the breaking point again.
Yeah. Toward the end, my dear wife, Rachel McPadden, wonderful woman, said, "You cannot do this anymore. You will not write another book of this scope by yourself." And I said, because I was so crazy at the end of this book.
Just speaking in tongues.
Yeah, exactly.
Making no sense whatsoever.
But I do have another book idea, and I'm actually going to write it with... I've been talking with another author, a guy named Dan Budnick, who is a Chicago native. He doesn't live here anymore. who is one of the Bleeding Skull guys. And if you're a horror fan or a fan of freaky, obscure direct-to-video films, Bleeding Skull is the website.
Got it.
And they did a great book, and he has a book on 80s and 90s B action movies coming out. And Budnick is great. You got to get him on.
I would love to. Hey, have you given up on eating? Are you afraid to eat?
I'm a little afraid, yeah. I'm a little afraid. Also, I've been running my mouth talking.
Well, I know that, but I mean, you just flat out closed the clamshell. You just... You said...
so good.
Because I made quick work. I mean, not like there were a ton of them, but I made quick work of the buffalo tofu wings. They're really tasty. The tricky thing with tofu is it's basically flavorless. It takes on the flavor. So it's really how you cook it and what you cook it with. And they did a really nice job with it. And
ground control really knows what they're doing.
Yeah, I mean, that was the real thing. I could eat that again happily.
I'm very happy to hear that. And then it's right next door to Damn Fine Coffee, which is a wonderful establishment. And they have these really good vegan donuts. And I can't think of the name of the bakery. It's like Happy Day or something. But really good vegan donuts. So this is nice vegan row here.
So, yeah, your hood is making it easy for you to...
Yeah.
To follow through on your life decisions.
Yes, exactly.
I love that.
Including having this beard. So,
all right, so it looks like your next book will be out in the fall.
Yeah.
Cannot wait to read it. And I can't stress enough how much I enjoy heavy metal movies. And you're also... The things you do in the freelance world always impress me. You've been doing a lot of true crime writing lately.
Yeah.
Was that an interest category for you?
I mean, yeah, just in terms of something sick and weird and gruesome. But it was just sort of happenstance. I was at Mr. Skin for 11 years. I left in 2014 to sort of pursue the freelance life. Still good friends with Mr. Skin. Still love that fella. And just bumping around, and I did some freelance for writer named Christine Colby in New York, and she landed a gig at Crime Feed, which is the daily crime blog of the Investigation Discovery Channel, and did a couple of freelance pieces for them, and a job opportunity opened up, and I dove in, and it's been great.
A lot of work putting those stories together.
It's It's pretty time consuming.
That's legitimate journalism. Like when not to discredit the work it takes to sit in front of porkies and dissect the meaning.
I
of it
do
all.
have to put on a different hat. And a different pair of pants.
For sure.
Yeah.
But I do enjoy you. I enjoy your writing. I think you do a terrific job.
Thank you very much, James. Yeah.
All right. So real quick, let's do a quick heavy metal movie recap or horror movie recap. You know generally what I've seen. Give me a recommendation.
Okay. A film from 1982 called Pieces. Do you remember this film?
In name only.
Okay. A brilliant... Okay, they're putting out, like, these incredible... Several companies are putting out these Blu-rays that you will not believe. I get weepy over the packaging and the extras on these things. So
just because they're so beautifully handled.
Beautifully handled. Exhaustive. So I'm going to recommend two. Mm-hmm. The first is Pieces, which is and the Blu-ray is from Grindhouse Releasing.
Okay.
And
what's the premise of Pieces?
Well, the tagline says a lot, which is you don't have to go to Texas for a chainsaw massacre. So there is
a
chainsaw killer on a college campus.
Perfect.
It's I'm going to say, one of the 5 most insane films I've ever seen.
Sold.
And without giving too much away, it's the thought, it all holds together. It's hilarious. It's shocking. And it's not scary per se, but it's so jolting that you do get your, jump out of your seat worth. Typical of Pieces' insanity is there's a scene out of nowhere where a karate guy shows up and just starts doing karate moves. And it really takes you to another dimension watching this. You're like, what the hell is going on? Because they're pursuing... Christopher George is the tough guy detective. He's pursuing this killer. Linda Day George. Do you remember that celebrity couple from the 70s?
Yeah.
So she's a tennis pro on this college campus. And, they're out pursuing this killer. And this karate guy shows up and starts 3 minutes of, going through his paces. So when you watch the Blu-ray, the commentary, you learn things like what it was the producer of Pieces also did cheap karate movies. He did a lot of the Bruce Lee and Bruce.
Oh yeah,
Lee,
the knockoff guys.
The knockoff guys after Bruce Lee died. So Bruce Lee would be like Bruce L.I.
Yeah.
And so they had 6 hours with this guy, with this karate actor. And they said, do you want to use him? They're like, yeah, of course we do. So they just shot him on the... Yeah, shoehorn it in. So that's... I will say this. It has, bar none, the final moment is the sickest, most berserk... You will get out... You will launch out of your chair and run outside when you see this last moment.
Okay.
I promise you, Pieces. Now, the other one is Dr. Butcher, M.D.
That's
Medical
Deviant. That's another one I know in name only that I've never seen.
So, Dr. Butcher, M.D., Medical Deviant. And I love to say the full title.
You have to.
With the parenthetical Medical Deviant.
Of course.
So, this is a disgusting film, but what it is it's a combination of two movies, actually. It's an Italian zombie movie called Zombie Holocaust, and it's chopped together with a segment of an unfinished anthology film called Tales That'll Rip Your Heart Out, I think. And so very nonsensical, but truly gross. And it's about Dr. Butcher is this, he's a doctor, he's a medical deviant. He's making zombies and all that.
Sure.
Really, but truly a foul thing and a wonderfully foul thing to witness. The bonuses are mind-blowing because this was a film that did huge business on 42nd Street in New York, and I grew up going to the dozen or so grindhouse theaters there.
Back when Times Square was seedy. And...
It was an open sewer of glorious entertainment. It was all porno theaters, peep shows, and these grindhouse theaters that ran almost 24 hours a day, triple features, anything schlocky, horror, karate, anything like that. Dr. Butcher was one of the major films of that era, 1982. And they promoted it with a thing called the Butcher Mobile. And I wish I could say I had seen the Butcher Mobile in person, but I didn't. And what it was a flatbed truck, and it had big banners on the side that said, go see Dr. Butcher at this theater in Times Square. Opens Friday, don't miss it, go see it. They drove around the city. On the back were a couple of horror fanzine editors, two of my great heroes. Guy named Michael Weldon, who did a fanzine called Psychotronic. Also wrote two great Psychotronic guidebooks to movies. And another guy named Rick Sullivan, who I stole a lot of his personality when I started writing. He did a thing called the Gore Gazette, which was an incredibly obnoxious and very funny horror movie review zine. So Sullivan was dressed as the doctor, as the medical deviant. Weldon was his victim. And their two girlfriends had bikinis on and were covered in blood. And they went all over the city promoting this on the Butcher Mobile.
That's amazing.
Now, what's incredible on this DVD is they have footage and photographs of the Butcher Mobile in action. They found Sullivan, who went into retirement over some really, I'll tell you off the air, hilariously fishy circumstances. He came out of retirement to talk about the Butcher Mobile.
That's amazing.
And that is from Severin Films, Severin Films.
So, all right, Dr. Butcher, MD, Medical Deviant.
Yes, and Pieces.
Done. Mike McBeardo McPadden, can't wait for the new book. Thank you for turning me on to vegan food.
Thank you for this sandwich that I ate half of.
Well, you got a treat when you get home.
Yes, I do.
I mean, that could be a late dinner. That could be an early breakfast. I mean,
it could get stuffed down my maw while I'm driving, too, when I don't have a microphone on. Yeah.
It's not going to go bad. It's not
There's
meat.
no meat, right. It'll last forever.
That's right. All right, thank you, sir.
This was wonderful. Thank you so much, James. This was great.